If you watched last week's video, you already know that this conversation is not going anywhere. And like I said, neither are we. Because what came up in the comments and in your messages told me everything I needed to know about where we need to go next. We're all feeling it, not just emotionally, but in our bodies. The tension that we cannot release, the sleep that never fully restores us, the exhaustion that goes bone deep no matter how much you rest, the weight that will not move no matter what we do. I think we can all relate to that if we're over 50, if we're being honest with ourselves. The anxiety that lives just underneath the surface of every ordinary day. And you've been told those things are separate from what happened to you, and they're not. And today I want to show you exactly why. Here's what nobody sat down and told us. What you went through did not just leave a mark on your memory, it left a mark in your body. And your body has been responding to that mark every single day. Not because you have not prayed enough or tried hard enough or wanted it badly enough, but because your body was never designed to carry what was done to you without help. And it never got the help it needed. It's what we talked about in the last week's video. So it did what bodies do when they have no other choice. It adapts. It reorganizes itself around what happened to you. And it has been living there ever since. I want to tell you something I did not understand for a long time. I thought I'd moved on. In many ways, I had done the work, I had prayed, I had sought counsel, and I had reached points where I genuinely believed I was through the worst of it. And then I would notice things, especially around anything that has to do with medical things. The way my body would brace in certain situations that had nothing to do with what happened to me or any parts of my story. The way I would react to a tone of voice, a particular silence, a smell, a feeling in a room, and something in me would respond as if I was back there. Not in my mind, but in my body, my heart rate, my breathing. The tension that moved through me was like a current. And that's how I used to try and explain it to people. I always felt like I had all this extra energy running through me, and it made me feel so uncomfortable in my own skin. I felt like my skin was crawling. I felt like my brain would never quiet. And I remember thinking, why? Many times over the last 4 years, I would say, why is this still happening? I thought I was past this. What I did not understand then was that my mind had moved forward, but my body was still living at the scene of what had happened to me, still protecting me from it, still bracing from it, still holding on in the only way that it knew how. It didn't fully trust that I was safe. And I had been carrying physical symptoms for years that I never once connected to what had been done to me. That just hit me as I'm saying this today. I had been carrying things that I didn't believe had a connection to what people had done to me. So let me show you what is actually happening inside your body. When something traumatic happens, your nervous system does something pretty remarkable. It does the only thing it knows how. It goes into fight, flight, or freeze. And in that moment, your body floods with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. So your heart rate increases, your muscles tighten, you know, your neck where we all carry it, ladies, right? And your immune system shifts. Everything non-essential gets turned down, and everything that might help you survive gets turned up. And this is not a flaw in your design. This is your body doing exactly what it was created to do, protecting us. But here's what happens when the protection never gets to complete itself. When the threat was ongoing, when there was no safe place for us to land, when you had to keep functioning in the middle of it because life required you to. We didn't get a break as moms. I know I didn't. Your nervous system never got the signal that it was over and that you were safe, that it could come all the way back down. So it stayed partially activated, partially alert, partly braced, day after day, year after year. And that's the first time that I almost died. And then that happened again the second time I almost died, because my body could only take so much. So I've been rebuilding since 2000 and I want to say 2014, which is 12 years. And my body still has memory of things that were done to me that I pushed way down. And that low level of activation, that constant hum in your body's protection response, became and becomes my normal and your normal. So normal that you stopped noticing it, it just became the way you felt. Now for me, it wasn't so normal that I didn't notice it. I got used to not feeling good every day. I got used to feeling activated. I didn't know that I was ever going to have a day where I wasn't anxious anymore. It's amazing for me for where I am now. And here is what that costs a woman's body over time. When cortisol stays elevated, your sleep is disrupted, not just occasionally, chronically. And your immune system is compromised. Your hormones cannot regulate properly. Your body holds weight, especially around our middle, because cortisol tells our body to store it for survival. And your digestion is affected, your heart is affected, your brain is affected, the brain fog, the forgetfulness, the difficulty concentrating that you thought was just aging. I don't know about you, but after trauma and having trauma brain, it was really hard for me to read anything more than 5-10 minutes. I couldn't concentrate. I'd read the same sentence over and over again. So when I first went back to school in 2020 and 2021, it was really hard for me. I had to really train my brain to relax so that I could do the work, because the inflammation rises and stays elevated in a way that affects every system in your body, especially your prefrontal cortex. And none of this has anything to do with what you're eating or how much you're exercising or how hard you're working at it. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has everything to do with what your body has been holding without resolution. And I need you to really sit with what I'm about to say. The physical symptoms you have been trying to fix from the outside have a root that goes all the way back to what was done to you. The weight, the fatigue, the anxiety, the sleep issues, the inflammation, the hormonal chaos of perimenopause and menopause hitting harder than it should. They're not random, and it's not just aging. These are bodies that have been living in a state of protection for years, finally running out of capacity for us to hold it all together. And the medical system will give us a pill for every single symptom. Trust me, you can get a pill for everything without ever asking, what has this woman's body been carrying and for how long? And this is where unforgiveness, I want to sit with this for a second. This is where unforgiveness becomes a physical matter, not just a spiritual one, not just an emotional one. When what was done to you stays unprocessed in your body, your nervous system is always activated around it, because your body's still protecting you from something it never got to finish processing, and cortisol stays elevated. And elevated cortisol is inflammation, and inflammation is every symptom you've been trying to fix without ever being told what was causing it. Listen, ladies, what you do not forgive stays trapped in your body from the scene of that crime. And I do not say that to put a burden on you. I say it because your freedom is connected to your healing ways that go all the way down into every one of your cells. Now, forgiveness is the gift you give yourself. It has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with they ever are held accountable. It has nothing to do with if they ever admit to what they did. And I want you to hear me about this, because many of you think I'm just saying to forgive. No, ladies, I'm not. There was a moment when I finally understood that my body had been trying to protect me the whole time. It wasn't punishing me like I thought. It wasn't betraying me like I thought. No, it was not working against me either. It was protecting me. Every symptom, every reaction, every way my body responded to the world around me in ways I could not understand or I could not explain was my body doing the only thing it knew how to do with what it had been given. And when I understood that, something shifted deep inside of me in how I saw myself. I stopped being angry at my body, and I started to understand that what it needed was not to be pushed harder or disciplined more or given another pill or sent home with another prayer or another this or another that. It needed to finally feel safe, safe enough to come out of protection, safe enough to process what it had been holding, safe enough to release what it was never meant to carry this long. And this is why time alone does not heal it, because time does not reach into your nervous system and complete what was unfinished. Time just creates distance around something that is still fully active inside of you. And God said, renew our minds. And I've come to understand that renewal is not just a spiritual process, it's a physical one. And that's why forgiveness for me was what put me on the other side, because not only did I forgive everybody else, I forgave myself. It's the literal rewiring of your nervous system that learned to live in protection into one that finally knows it's safe. And that rewiring does not happen through willpower. It does not happen through more time. It happens through a very specific, very intentional process that meets your body where every wound actually lives. And when that process begins, when your body starts to understand at the deepest level it's safe, the symptoms begin to shift, not overnight, but consistently. Sleep starts to deepen. The anxiety starts to quiet. The weight starts to respond. The fog starts to lift. The inflammation starts to calm. Not because you found the right supplement or the right diet or the right exercise program, because the root of what was driving all of it is finally being addressed. And your body was never the problem. It was always just a messenger. Just like everybody says, don't shoot the messenger. And it has been sending you the same messages for years. I need help finishing what I started. I need to know that it is safe to put this down. So if you've been living in a body that feels like it's working against you, I want you to hear this clearly and completely. Your body is not your enemy. It has been your most faithful protector. It has carried what should never have been yours to carry. It has held together what should have been held by somebody else. And it has been waiting not to fail you, but for the safety and the support it has needed all along. You're not broken. You're a woman whose body has been doing an extraordinary job of surviving something it was never meant to survive alone. And it's ready to do something different now if you'll let it. And this is exactly the work that we do inside of the Inner Healing Journey method. It's not surface level. It's definitely not a quick fix. And it's not another thing asking you to pretend that healing happens overnight. I'm not going to tell you that. I never will, because it's real work at a level where the wound actually lives and gets released. And if you're a man watching this, a husband, a father, a leader, a pastor, I want you to know that this work is connected to something I built specifically for you. It's the answer from my life story. Raising Her Worth exists because I believe that healing flows from the top down, that when leaders change, communities and everything else benefits from it. It's all connected. All of it is at the level of we need our leaders to change for all of us, our homes, our churches, our schools, our businesses, and the way that we all walk through life only happens when things change at the top. If it doesn't, things don't change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. It's just the truth. Everything can be found on my website, theinnerhealingcoaching.com. So wherever you are, the link is right here in the description. And before you go, if this reached you today, would you do me a favor and please subscribe? And if you know a woman who needs to hear this, would you send it to her? Because she does not need more advice. Oh, do we not need more advice or more opinions? She just needs to know someone finally said out loud what she's been feeling. I want to thank you again for being here. I appreciate every single one of you who has commented, sent me messages, and signed up for my weekly newsletter. I see you. I hear you. I am you. We're all in this together. God bless your healing, and I'll see you next Monday.